Okay, continue.
So we were talking about if we've seen The Matrix, and we definitely won't ruin it for those who haven't seen The Matrix, but it's so perfectly timed. And Ashika actually posted this on her page, and it's so perfectly timed because there's so much happening, and what the movie, the entertainment thing, it's entertainment, but what the messages that movie brings is so very important. And one of the things that really resonated with me, and it resonates with this collective group and why the collective group was even formed in the beginning, was there was a, and I'm paraphrasing, there was a point in the movie when one of the guys says, the reason the Matrix is so powerful is that all we have to do is use people's desires against them. Mm. And all we have to do is flip back and forth from fear to fulfilled. And I'm paraphrasing. And it really just resonated with me when I was saying, oh my God, this is about distraction. And it's all about distraction. If you can keep people distracted and you can keep them in fear, you can keep them in the Matrix. You can keep them asleep. For sure. Because they'll always just go back to those things. And one of the things in the Matrix also was said, use their desires against them. Right. And it just kind of like hit me strongly. I was like, oh my God, like every time that I am at my highest point, every time I am like flowing and in my strength and in my power and in my energy and everything else, a distractor comes along, and it's usually in the form of a male. And they will come in and they will say, oh, wait a minute, we want to do this together and we want to do that together. And it distracts me from my goal. Not that all men are that way, and not that relationships are that way, but it really feels like this is what's been happening, and especially in the past, say, 3 years. And so I was so blown away by it, and I wanted to kind of discuss that whole thing about distraction and about how people are staying in the Matrix because of it.
That sounds good. I was looking for a post that the fear campaign is losing power and wearing thin now. The jig is up. It's all nonsense. Some people are lost and aren't coming back. You can't save them, and it's not worth trying. They will just resent you for it. Focus on yourself and those with an open mind. Let's win.
Oh, I love that. We got to repost that.
I'll share it with the group. And then there was something else. This is Lavelle Zimmerman. So Eric turned me on to him. He's such a sage, a wise sage. Everything he posts, I'm always like, yes. There is absolutely nothing that appears before you that is not a reflection, beloved. Any sentient or non-sentient being, lightship, or manifestation of consciousness is your own. It's only necessary for you to heal the internal fear at the root of feeling you are in danger. Once again, this is an illness known as insanity. You are literally in fear of yourself as the creator, unaware of the hologram illusion of separation. Just heal.
Wow.
I know, and then there's more Lavelle. I'm trying to find what you have ahead of you is going to blow your mind. That's in quotes, blow your mind. None of you will, quote, believe what you are seeing and feeling. We already witnessed this portion of your journey where you will realize that it has all been worth it. It's only necessary to be present and enjoy what is now. All is well indeed.
Gina, do you have anything?
Just fits right in with my own awareness, especially over the past few months. really though, this addiction to fear, societal addiction to fear, became so apparent, especially during the election, the last two elections. And I mean, the pandemic, all of it is just, Operation Look Over There, Operation Squirrel.
As has,
And
yeah.
Hmm?
As has been the presidencies as well, both of them
for sure. And then all of the smaller, more personal ways we are experiencing individually. And that's been a part of my journey, especially in the last year, no, longer, of recognizing, is this 3D or is this 5D? Okay, so if it's 3D, old stories, old programmings, old beliefs, old addiction to fear, is it something I want to carry forward? And usually the answer is no. So then it can be released. And that's a small conversation that I used to have quite frequently. And now I just need it less. It's easy to say, oh, 3D, I see you. No, thanks. As a functional everyday practice and awareness.
I love that.
The dogs are playing on the bed with me. You can probably hear them.
You make a good point, and I actually have practiced this as well. And I know that we have a lot, we go back and forth, 3D, 5D, we go back and forth, and I call it 3D meta, right? And the longer we can stay in the meta, the better, right? Because when we get into that 3D, we're swimming in the sludge, we're participating in the lower level emotions that at this point aren't, although they're there, they're not necessary to swim in, right? We can look at it, we can observe it, we can recognize it, and then we can move forward. Like you were saying, is this 3D? Yeah, I'm not interested in participating. And when we don't participate, I truly feel that's when we can help the people the most. Like when we can truly help, we can, kind of like the lifeguards, right? The lifeguards don't play in the pool with everyone else. And they are watching above to find people who are in need of help. And not that we're above anybody, because it's not about that. It's about us being able to free our own selves from our sludge so that we can help other people free themselves. And I think that that's so very important, especially right now with people swimming in sludge. But there was something that was said about fear has gone on too long and now it's losing its power, because when you constantly push fear on people, there's one of two things that happens. They shell and they kind of stay in their fear mode, or they awaken and they go, wait a minute, something's going on here. The mind goes, okay, we can be in this state for how long, but then we need to move out of it. And so now you see a lot more people speaking out and saying, enough, all of these distractions, I'm keen to what's happening here. I can move forward. And so I'm really encouraged with that.
Right. And I'm seeing that in, I don't want to say everyday people, but people who are not currently on an active spiritual journey, them getting that too and awakening to that fact. Also, something came up, I've been going through a lot lately, and there were times in the past couple of months, and it was very intense for a period, where I would want to spend time processing what was happening. Some awareness would come up and I would want to be in it for a moment. And you know how you get like a song stuck in your head or something? I've most of my life always had something playing in my head. And that only stopped a few years ago as I started working on my energy. But in this really challenging time that was sent for my evolution,
Mhm.
I would start to go into this process, and then a song would come up and like play really loud in my head. And it became very clear that's either my subconscious or something else trying to get me to stop thinking about what it was that I wanted to process and heal and move through. And so I had to turn the volume down or hit the pause button so that I could be in that moment. But it was very clear, like, oh, no, look at this, look at this, look at this. You know, you need Netflix like right now. You don't need to think about that thing you wanted to think about.
True.
It was very obvious and aggressive even.
Wow. You know, you when you were speaking, something came to me, and it really is true. It's a how can we use our desires as strengths of empowerment for ourselves rather than a weapon that can be used against us.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have the answer at this moment, but it is something that we could definitely ponder on. And because because what's happening right now, especially with us helping to clear so that new timelines can be ushered in so that we can help the collective. This is a big one right now, because people have all of these desires, hopes, wishes, and dreams. But if they're being used as a weapon, then how do we help free people? How do we help that collective so that they can have those dreams and desires and still have their empowerment?
I feel like the key there is joy. Desires, and it's also very important to get clear on the origin and the intent of the desire, because desires can come in from all kinds of sources, including the subconscious mind trying to protect the conscious mind from that which is uncomfortable.
Mhm.
Or other influences that are trying to keep the consciousness in the 3D state. So getting clear on where the desire is coming from and whether it has roots in joy, which are the key, which are the, not red flag, rainbow glitter flag, that it's a higher good, as opposed to a desire that's rooted in external validation or people pleasing or pacification of others or safety in unsafe environments and relationships, for example.
I agree. You know, a lot of us get into these relationships and sometimes we don't even know why, or we just realize, or we just say to ourselves, because we don't want to be alone. Or, you know, there's that fear of being alone, or there's that fear of feeling empty, or there's fear of not being loved, whatever the fear is. But we get into relationships because of fear, less so than because, hey, we're ready. We would love to experience a beautiful experience with somebody. And
Oh no, we were doing so well.
Oh no. Can you hear me right now?
Yes, again.
Okay, good. Mm.
We were going strong for 25 minutes.
If you can hear us, maybe turn off your video, Shannon. So I didn't quite hear because I had to deal with something with the dogs. I had to go downstairs really quick. I didn't hear what community you were referring to, like how the community that that Shannon was asking, how do we free them up so that they can follow their dreams?
I think just society at large,
Mm.
people at large, and right, going back to the connection of using desires against people that Shannon was talking about in the beginning from the movie. So that's how we got into desires versus purpose and joy. Because even especially, I feel like especially powerful are desires rooted in low frequency motivation. Desires rooted in fear and unworthiness would be so easy to manipulate to keep one rooted in 3D.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Eric posts a lot about that.
Mm. Yeah, desires rooted in ego would be a cinch. Desires rooted in higher frequency motivators, of course, could still be, but if a person has a good connection to joy as an indicator, as well as fear as an indicator, then it feels like that would be easier to navigate. Like the two angels on the shoulders, like red light, green light. Is this rooted in joy or fear? That would be a good litmus test.
You gotta love this amazing technology that loves to kick me off.
Just you.
I know. I don't know. I mean, I'm direct lined into the Wi-Fi. There's no air interference. For some reason, my computer completely froze, and we all know that certain energies don't want us to say certain things. So here I am on my phone.
So this was something else that Eric posted yesterday. He posts the best stuff. It's like I still am not quite sure what his deal is in my life, but I'm just not thinking about it. It's Morticia Adams. Can't think of the actress's name. Angelica Houston, is that it?
Yes.
You've got your 2 shots, you've got your 2 boosters, you're double masked, and yet nothing has changed. How stupid do you feel? You don't feel stupid at all. Why? Because you're stupid. So then he corrected it. He posted that and he said, this has nothing to do with being stupid. One only perceives what their vibe and reflection allow. Fear is the lowest vibe in the universe. It affects a human's consciousness in ways to not serve their highest trajectory. That's amazing. Who constantly shovels fear? Who is your master? Love is intelligent, fear is ignorant. And so I feel like all along, it's always been about a return to love. Marianne Williamson got it right. You know, like returning to love. Love is who we are. It's where we came from. It's who we are. And so, oh my gosh. Okay, we do not consent to this fuckery that keeps kicking off. That's my
Leave it on a t-shirt. I do not consent to this fuckery.
I'm gonna make one. I'm serious. I say that all the time. Like, I do not consent to this fuckery. So what I was just gonna say about that. Like, I don't know, were you on the rescue mission that we did with Sandy in Burma? The last one we did, it was the last one we did. And the only reason we were so successful, like we got it done. Like that was the last one, we got it done. And it was because we were working together, and part of what we were doing was offering Ho'oponopono to the dark energy. like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you felt you felt so much fear that you felt you had no other choice but to do what you did.
Mm.
And I think if people can relate to others that way, like, we're all on our journey, we're all doing the best we can. And if there's a bit more compassion, I mean, it sounds Pollyanna, but it's legit, you know, like, if people could just relate to, like I had a friend, that my friend I worked for in Australia, and she screwed me over pretty hard. And see, even just me saying that she screwed me over pretty hard, that's creating that story, that's creating that listening of her, right? All of that.
Yeah.
Took me a while to get there. It took me maybe like 2-3 years to get there, where I could have compassion and just say, I'm so sorry that you felt so much fear, that you felt that you had no other choice but to do what you did to someone who was one of your best friends. Please forgive me for whatever I did, consciously or unconsciously, that contributed to that. You know, and I think some of it is as we're playing out patterns too. We're playing out, you know, karmic patterns and ancestral patterns and Akashic, you know, like some of that. And so if we can recognize that it's like, okay, this is this pattern. There's this meme that's like, you know, when people say it runs in the family, you say it runs out here.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And so I the bottom line, one of my favorite things about Landmark is the distinction of choice. You always have choice. We're choosing every moment, and then some. Every moment, now and now and now and now, we're choosing. Possibility, no possibility, love, fear, love, fear, love, fear, in every moment. So if we can bring some consciousness to it when we're choosing fear, and then actively choose love. I mean, it sounds simple. And it really, I guess it is, you know, but
It's the simple things that are the hardest, though, the most challenging.
sometimes, I mean,
You know, another,
yeah, you go.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say another layer of that, you know, is our belief systems and our belief systems of what love is. Because we can say we can choose love, right? And I mean, we have been working on ourselves for quite some time, but there are some people that believe love is control, or love is pain, love is hurt, whatever it is their belief systems are. And so really getting clear on what love is, and maybe going back to creator, sitting with the universe and rediscovering what love truly is, rather than our belief systems of what love should be. But I love the Ho'oponopono. I really, I mean, it is very effective.
And there's something that I teach, and I'm getting that it's time for me to create some like workshop about it. People can, is in rewiring your neural pathways. And that is really simple, but it takes awareness. And so I think that's the first step, is an awareness that the machinery, the human machinery of this neural pathway is just doing its thing. It's just running its course. And when we're aware of that, we're like I often use the example of scarcity and abundance. Like something comes out of your mouth and you're like, I can't afford it, or that's expensive, or whatever the story is about it. That's a scarcity conversation. Is the key is to catch yourself in the act of that, and then say something to interrupt it. I got this originally from Susie Orman, and her phrase was, do I want that to be true? But it could be as simple as cancel, delete, cancel, clear, delete, do over, take it back. I didn't mean it. Like, it doesn't really matter what you say. It's just an interruption of that pathway. And then you can insert something else. Because if you're aware of it, self is present. It's not just the machinery. The machinery can't be the observer. It's just the machinery.
I often work on, creating new neural pathways and helping people recognize patterns and things in their brain and in their energy. And one of the things that I say is that the brain can't unsee something. So when you bring it to their attention that this is a pattern, and you allow them to really truly discover and open up their mind to the pattern and where it came from and how it originated and what it's causing in their lives, and you open up that big picture, the brain can't unsee it. So what happens is that they can consciously continue the pattern, but 9 times out of 10, the brain will then look at it and say, okay, I'm ready to offer a new possibility, which is the creation of a new neural pathway. It's the new possibility for them to create something bigger, better, and more spectacular.
I got lost in there a little bit.
So when you point something out, so say that you're working on someone who has a pattern of something, it doesn't even matter what it is, when you can help them to discover why and help them to discover the whole pattern itself, not just the fact that they're continuing to do this, but where it came from, maybe even if it's in the DNA or if it's part of a past life thing that they're just repeating over and over and over again. But you're giving them the bigger picture look. When you give them that, then since the brain can now recognize it, won't unsee it, it would be more open to a new neural pathway or a new possibility. Because I call new neural pathways possibilities, because you can create them, but it's up to the person to choose whether or not they follow that pathway that you've created with them.
Once you've created the pathway, can they still choose to repeat the pattern that pre-existed it?
Yes. Because the new neural pathway is that new paved road. But if they're used to the old grooved road, and that is more comfortable for them, and I call it the uncomfortable comfortable. If that's more comfortable for them, then a lot of the times they'll go back to old patterns, knowing very well that they have this new possibility. And until they're truly ready to release it, they will stay in that same cycle. We can lead them to water, but we can't make them drink. We can even create a whole pond for them in a beautiful garden, and they have to decide whether or not they want to sit in that garden. I have a recommendation in this energy of choice and in this energy of distraction and need and empowerment and all of these type of things. I would love it if we could send an energy of discernment and really giving people the true choice, not the choice of being trapped or not the choice of fear, but the choice of empowerment, and really just stepping into it and owning their wants, needs, desires, and all of that as an empowerment rather than a weapon. What do you think?
I'm nodding my head.
Speaks to me right now, particularly.
So what we can do is tap into that energy, the energy of the liquid crystal and the etherical crystal, the infinity, the golden river, all of those energies that allow for us to connect into the I am collective. We take a minute to do that and then really begin to offer that discernment and that empowerment to people. I'm getting a fun envisionment, and it's almost like we're spraying people off of the, spraying the sludge off of the people, clearing them from the lower level emotions. You know how you spray somebody with the hose, but it's in a fun way where they can actually find their joy again. They're dancing in the water, just allowing for all of the sludge to be cleared from them, freeing them from those lower level emotions and giving them the discernment and the opportunity for empowerment.
So it's so perfect you say that, of course, because what I was doing was drew in the liquid crystal golden light into the chalice that I am, and filling myself and filling my chalice too with the knowing that what brings me joy and what is in my highest good is always empowering, and also at the same time releasing the addiction to fear and the power of fear to rule my decision making and my experience. And then collecting all of that up within the solution of the liquid crystal and sort of blasting it out of the chalice of me, out of the top of it, like a golden tulip, golden drops of energy blasting out over the land around me to find those in the conscious that are needing that knowing and releasing. And so it's all coming up and blasting out far and wide to land on and wash top to bottom over those who need and accept from their highest selves that knowing and releasing.
Awesome. When I first, go ahead, Shannon.
Oh no, go ahead.
The first time I used the ultraviolet angelic fire light, I was doing Steve Noble's I Am Ultraviolet Angelic Fire, and I had my wand with me, which I'll pull out now. It's my wand that has the rainbow fluoride at the end, and I was wielding it like a hose or like a sword, but at first it was like a hose where I was like spraying the room and just spraying everywhere with this ultraviolet fire light that is so purifying and so cleansing. And then it has shown up again where I was shown how to use it and make it softer like a mist, right? And I used that in one of the missions with Sandy, one of those 3 rescue missions, where it was golden and green and violet, this mist. And so it makes sense. It's like, I'm seeing something like relating to the Matrix, right? It's like when the there's that going through the mirror, right? There's that piercing it, somehow being washed or encompassed by the truth. So you can't see, but I'm waving my wand around like I'm spraying. And I'm setting the intention that I am spraying this ultraviolet angelic firelight. This dissolves, cancels, cuts, clears, deletes anything of lower vibration, anything that no longer serves the highest trajectory, the highest timeline for those that are ready. Some have made their choice otherwise, but there are those that are ready and don't know how. And this fire, this cleansing, this power is for them.
My 3 dragons are here, circling me, supporting the energy.
I'm also being guided to add those who already are in the light, those who already are high frequency, who may be having challenges, who may be facing huge speed bumps.
Oh no. All right, I'm going to jump in here until she comes back. So this showed up somewhere in one of my pages, a cord cutting mantra. I release you with a full heart, with love for the place you once held in my life. May you be happy in the life you have chosen. I now take back all the energy that has been taken from me or that I have given away, and I return the energy that I still hold from you. May I be free from the ties that bind us. May all cords be cut, transmuted, and dissolved. May all energy return to its original sender with power, peace, and forgiveness. I ask that this is complete and sealed now. So it is. I just read a cord cutting mantra, Shannon, while we were waiting to come back on.
Wonderful.
So what were you saying?
So I was just saying that that we join with those who are having challenges, who are already high frequency, who, you know, that we help to clear anything that may be holding them down, and help them as the collective empowerment.
What does that look like?
So we as the collective, it would look like, let's say it's the light infinity symbol. And some of those who are higher frequency could be having challenges. They could be having family issues. They could be having whatever challenges they may be. And that we help just clear those challenges for them, and allow for the universe to give them a higher and better resolve, and so that they can create a new empowerment, or even just add to their frequency, almost like we're holding their hand and helping them through the sludge.
I like that image of holding your hand. Like it's like mud or quicksand. They think they're sinking, but they're really not. It's an illusion to keep them stuck. So I am now hosing their feet and hosing the legs.
With a reminder that occasionally getting some muck on you does not mean that you're doing anything wrong, or not light enough or good enough or strong enough.
And to add to that, that we all can help each other. to raise each other up. It takes a village to create this type of energy, and in the infinity, we're all connected.
I'm just having so much fun spinning out this energy. I have to go in 1 minute.
I'm using the purple, the ultraviolet tuning fork. And it's like I'm spiraling. It's like the spiral is a good word. It's like I'm just kind of stirring the pot.
Yep, and there it is. Time for me to run. Oh, there went Shannon too.
Yeah.
Jules, thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Shannon, thank you.
We'll talk to you
Everyone who
soon.
showed up for us, thank you. Talk to you soon.
I love. So Gina had to get off because she has a client in 5 minutes, or a session in 5 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm getting kicked off, but I am, I'm going to keep pushing through it. And next time I come on, I'll make sure that I have the angels come in and just clear any interference that may be there.
Do you have you updated to the latest version of Zoom?
No, I actually have not.
That could be your issue.
Okay, then I'll try that. I guess we could stop recording now for
Yeah.
people who. Yeah.
Thank you for watching today.